Today's video is about the key requirements and criteria for the intra-company transfer work permit for Canada. If you're not sure what an intra-company transfer or ICT is, check out this previous video. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking to transfer yourself, an employer in Canada looking to bring an employee into Canada, or an employee who is about to be transferred to Canada, I think this video will be relevant to all three of you, as we will go into some of the details like key definitions and documents required for this process. My name is Rashid Ali. I'm a licensed Canadian immigration consultant or RCIC from Milton, Canada, and in this video I will be sharing general information. Each case is different and ICT is a complex application, so do not take this video as legal advice. Instead, book a consultation to discuss your case so you can get information that is true and relevant for you. I will leave a link in the description. First off, let's address the core requirements for this process. The ICT option is available to legal business entities that have a parent, subsidiary, branch, or an affiliate legal entity in Canada. This applies to corporations, partnerships, even non-profit organizations. The key criteria is this relationship that must exist between the entity, the company outside of Canada and in Canada. This relationship can be pre-existing, like in the case of older companies that have operations both in Canada and abroad, like Nestle, TCS, etc. Or this can be a startup of a business in Canada. For example, when you are running a business in Dubai and you want to set up a branch or subsidiary of that business in Canada. By the way, here are the definitions of affiliate, branch, subsidiary, and parent company as per IRCC in the context of intra-company transfer. I'll give you an example of Nestle Canada, as I used to work there. Nestle Canada is a wholly owned subsidiary of Nestle SA, that is the global company Nestle located in Switzerland. Thus, Nestle can easily transfer its employees from Switzerland to Canada, and sometimes they do so. Now, with the definitions out of the way, let's look at the next criteria. The Canadian and foreign entities must have a qualifying parent, subsidiary, branch, or affiliate relationship and engage in active business operations in Canada and abroad. It cannot be an idle company without any employees, not doing any business just for the sake of using the ICT program. The entities in Canada and outside both need to be providing goods and services. And we'll also talk about startups later in this video. Let's talk about the requirements from the perspective of an employee or the applicant. So if you're the employee who's being offered a job in Canada, you must have been employed full-time for at least 1 year within the last 3 years by the parent, subsidiary, branch, or affiliate outside of Canada, right? So you need to be working for them for at least 1 year in the last 3 years, and then they can transfer you to Canada. That's one of the basic criteria. If you just join the company outside of Canada, you cannot be transferred. The applicant, the foreign national employee, must be able to transfer back to the foreign company at the end of their assignment in Canada. So we must demonstrate that this is a temporary move and you will be able to go back to your country. And you can be a citizen of any country. There is no restriction on your citizenship. The employer who's transferring you, they need to submit a number of documents for this process. If you're a Canadian employer, the company who's hiring you in Canada, if they're not a new legal entity in Canada, they need to provide evidence that they're actively doing business. For example, articles of incorporation, profit and loss statements, partnership agreements, license to do business, business tax returns, registration with Canada Customs and Revenue Agency as an employer, etc. The employer also needs to submit certain documents on behalf of you, the employee they're looking to transfer. Some examples are confirmation of employment documents, for example, employment letter and pay slips. The employment letter should clearly mention your current job title, duties in the company, your salary, an organogram showing the position you have in the company, especially for senior managers and executives. They should also give a confirmation that the employee has been working for the company outside of Canada continuously for at least 1 year within the last 3 years prior to application submission. They also need to state how long you will be staying in Canada. For specialists, more evidence will be required to demonstrate that they have specialized knowledge, and that knowledge is required in Canada. The employer in Canada, the company that is hiring you in Canada, they also need to submit a job offer that mentions your position, your duties for the role that you'll be doing in Canada. And keep in mind, if you're transferring yourself as a business owner, you will be acting as an employer as well as the employee. By the way, if you're someone who's looking to visit, study, work, or immigrate to Canada, or you're already here and you're now looking to help your family and friends, you can apply to join our online community, which will be launching later this year, where you can connect with like-minded folks such as yourself, check out the link to apply in the description. Now let's talk about startups. If you're someone who has a business outside of Canada and you want to establish a business in Canada, branch, affiliate, parent company, or subsidiary, if the legal entity in Canada will be a startup, that is, it doesn't exist in Canada right now, there are some additional requirements. Typically, the company should secure physical premises before applying for ICT, especially when you're hiring for specialized knowledge roles. If you're hiring for senior managers or executives, there are some exceptions, and you can temporarily use the address of the counsel or an accountant who helped you incorporate your company in Canada. You also need to show reasonable staffing plans, and the company outside of Canada must also prove that they have the financial capacity for the Canadian business and employee compensation. For example, the company outside of Canada, do they have the capability to pay an executive or a senior manager's salary? Is an executive or senior manager's position even justified as per the structure in Canada? So if you have a very small business outside of Canada, and let's say it's a one-person company, you won't be able to transfer yourself through intra-company transfer. Even if there are more than one people in the company, but the overall revenue is very low and it's hard to justify that you can afford to pay a salary to an executive in Canada, this will not be the best option for you. And also, a business plan is very critical for startups. The initial work permit that you will be issued will be for 1 year because it's a startup, but it can be renewed 3 times for a total duration of 7 years for executives and senior managers, and same goes for specialized knowledge workers, but they can stay maximum for a period of 5 years instead of 7. But to renew this work permit after 1 year, we must be able to demonstrate ongoing qualifying relationship between the Canadian and the foreign company, and there must be a continuous provision of goods and services by the new office during this year. Essentially, what this means is you cannot transfer yourself to Canada and then close your business outside of Canada. If you're in that situation where once you transfer to Canada, your business won't be running outside of Canada, your business won't be providing goods and services, there are other programs you can look into. For example, maybe significant benefits work permit or entrepreneur immigration. I'll leave a few videos in the description so you can check those out. So you cannot close your company outside of Canada after you move to Canada. You won't be able to renew your work permit like that. Also, if you transferred yourself to Canada but didn't start operations, you won't be able to renew your work permit after 1 year. If you're transferring specialized knowledge workers instead of managers, there are some additional things that you need to know. The specialized knowledge workers who are being transferred through ICT, they need to have a high degree of proprietary knowledge and advanced expertise. That's what IRCC is looking for. So this specialized knowledge entails company-specific expertise. So what they're looking for is that this employee who's being transferred to Canada has some company-specific knowledge and expertise that is not easily found in the market, especially within the Canadian market. And we must show that the worker being transferred as a specialized knowledge worker has a high degree of expertise. The Canadian corporation really needs them. So some supporting documents will be required, like resumes, job descriptions, their relevant experiences, any references they have, any specialized education or training or certifications that they obtained. All of these will help in proving that they have this specialized knowledge. So I hope this video helped you in understanding the requirements for ICT or intra-company transfer. It is a complicated application, but the benefits are huge. Other than business benefits, the person being transferred may eventually be able to get their PR through express entry, as I explained in the other video linked above and below. If you need to discuss your case, feel free to schedule a consultation using the link below. Thank you so much.